Snow fell softly over the city, blanketing the streets in a quiet hush. Christmas Eve was in full swing. Twinkling lights decorated shop windows, laughter echoed through the plazas, and carolers sang with cheerful abandon. But at Westbridge Enterprises, a giant glass building that reflected the winter sky, silence reigned. Inside, CEO Jonathan Hart was buried under paperwork, his office dimly lit by the glow of his computer screen. Despite the festive season, Jonathan's mind was elsewhere, weighed down by endless reports, board decisions, and the lingering ache of isolation. He had money, power, and influence, but something essential was missing. Meanwhile, a small figure hurried along the icy sidewalks. Dr. Serena Collins, a nurse at Mercy Hospital, carried a bag filled with tiny gifts, hot chocolate, and homemade cookies. Her breath formed little clouds in the cold air, and her cheeks were pink from the wind. Clutched in her hand was a crumpled note, its words written in a child's shaky hand.
Please visit Daddy.
He's lonely. Love, Emma, Lily, and Sophie. Serena had found the note earlier that day when the triplets came to the hospital, asking her to deliver it. Their father, Jonathan Hart, was the CEO of a multinational corporation. They hadn't seen him smile in weeks, and their small hearts longed for a touch of warmth from the parent who seemed so distant in their lives. Serena felt an overwhelming pull in her chest. She couldn't ignore their plea. She knew the office security, the locked doors, and the strict protocols, yet something inside her said this mission of kindness was bigger than bureaucracy. Tonight, she would reach the heart of a man who had lost touch with his own. White medium star the arrival. Jonathan was startled by the knock at his office door. It was late, and he had expected nothing more than silence. Yes, he called, his tone sharp, tired. Serena stepped inside, careful to balance the gifts and hot chocolate, and offered a calm, radiant smile. I'm Dr. Serena Collins from Mercy Hospital. I have a message from your daughters. Jonathan frowned. My daughters. His voice carried confusion and a hint of disbelief. They left a note for you, Serena said gently, holding it up. They wanted you to know that someone cares about you tonight. He blinked at her, reading the words again. Please visit Daddy. He's lonely. His normally composed demeanor cracked, and a wave of emotion threatened to overwhelm him. Serena didn't rush him. She placed the hot chocolate and cookies on his desk and pulled a chair closer, sitting just a few feet away. Her presence was calm and comforting, a stark contrast to the sterile office and the harsh fluorescent lights. White medium star the first connection. As Jonathan stared at the note, he realized how distant he had become, not just from his children, but from life itself. He had spent years chasing financial success, accolades, and control, yet his personal connections had suffered. The note, simple and earnest, hit him harder than any corporate crisis ever could. Serena spoke softly, recounting stories of the triplets' laughter, their excitement for the holidays, and the joy they found in simple things. Jonathan listened, initially stiff and cautious, but slowly allowing himself to be drawn in. This is beautiful, he said, his voice unsteady. I never realized how much I've been missing. Serena nodded. Sometimes the smallest gestures carry the biggest meaning. They just want to see you smile, to feel your presence. That's all that matters to them tonight. Jonathan's eyes welled with tears. For the first time in months, he allowed himself to feel, not as a CEO, but as a father. The warmth of caring for and being seen by those who loved him pierced the walls he had built around himself. White medium star the miracle of kindness. Hours passed as Serena stayed with him, sharing stories, laughter, and simple human connection. Jonathan began to relax, realizing that his wealth, power, and accomplishments had created a void that could only be filled by love, compassion, and attention. Serena handed him a small wrapped package from the girls. Inside were handmade paper ornaments, glittered and painted with love. Jonathan held them in his hands, feeling the weight of innocence, hope, and trust. They made this for me, he whispered, voice trembling. Yes, Serena said, smiling warmly. They wanted you to have something tangible, a reminder that you're loved and that you belong. Jonathan felt something shift inside him. He knew that he had been absent in the lives of his daughters, but the simple act of listening, caring, and showing up had begun to mend that gap. He realized that kindness, even from a stranger, had the power to awaken what he had almost forgotten: the joy of connection, the magic of presence, and the healing force of love. White medium star the unexpected joy. As Serena prepared to leave, Jonathan stopped her. "Wait," he said, a soft urgency in his voice. She turned, surprised. "Yes, I want to do more," Jonathan said. "Not just tonight, but every day. My daughters deserve it, and I deserve to feel it too." Serena nodded, understanding his meaning. "You're ready," she said. "Sometimes it takes someone from the outside to remind us what's most important." Jonathan smiled through tears, feeling a clarity he hadn't felt in years. The note, the nurse, the cookies, the ornaments, they had all combined to show him that the true wealth in life isn't money, but love, presence, and the courage to care. The snow outside had turned into a gentle flurry, dusting the city in white as Jonathan Hart sat in his office, staring at the handmade ornaments in his hands. Each one was imperfect, yet perfect in its innocence. Emma, Lily, and Sophie had poured their hearts into these tiny creations, and for the first time in months, Jonathan felt connected, not to his business empire, but to the beating hearts of his daughters. A knock at the office door pulled him from his thoughts. "Dr. Collins?" he called, recognizing Serena's voice. "Yes, Mr. Hart," she replied softly, stepping into the room with her usual warmth. "I thought I'd check on you one last time before heading home tonight." Jonathan gestured for her to sit. "It's been a long evening," he admitted, a faint smile on his lips. "But one I'm grateful for. The girls, they've already changed everything just by asking me to be present." Serena nodded. Sometimes, the simplest requests carry the heaviest weight. "They needed you, Jonathan. And now you need them too." White medium star the twist revealed. Serena reached into her bag and pulled out another small envelope. "They asked me to give this to you," she said. Jonathan took the envelope, puzzled. Inside was a letter, written in the neat, childish handwriting of the triplets. "Daddy, we know you're busy, and we know work is important. But we miss you. We love you. Please come to us more, not just tonight, but always. Love, Emma, Lily, Sophie." Jonathan's throat tightened. He looked up at Serena, eyes glistening. I never realized how much I've been absent. I've been so focused on everything else that I forgot the most important thing, being their dad." Serena smiled. "It's never too late. But it's not just about showing up, it's about presence. Listening, engaging, loving. That's what heals hearts." Jonathan nodded, feeling the truth in her words. "I want to do more than just show up. I want to be the father they need, every day. But I don't know where to start." White medium star the kindness continues. Serena's eyes softened. "Start small. Start with presence. Tonight, bring them here. Let them see you in a world outside the boardroom. Laugh with them. Listen. Be part of their lives. Then, step by step, you'll rebuild what's been missing." Jonathan felt a surge of gratitude toward Serena. Here was a woman who, in the middle of her own busy life, had taken time to act with kindness to help a stranger reconnect with his children. He realized that her guidance was a gift far beyond any business lesson he had ever received. Within the hour, Jonathan was in his car, driving through the snow, carrying the handmade ornaments, the envelope, and a heart full of hope. He arrived at the triplets' small apartment building, his nervousness battling the anticipation of reunion. When the door opened, the girls erupted into joyful squeals. Emma, Lily, and Sophie ran into his arms, hugging him tightly. Jonathan laughed, a deep, genuine laugh he hadn't heard in years. Their mother, Claire, watched from the doorway, tears of relief and gratitude streaming down her face. White medium star the miracle of connection. That night, Jonathan and his daughters sat by the Christmas tree, opening small gifts and sharing stories. He listened intently as Emma described her day at school, Lily recounted a funny incident with their cat, and Sophie proudly showed off a drawing she had made of the three of them as superheroes. Jonathan realized that the truest success in life wasn't measured in profits or accolades, but in the laughter of loved ones, the warmth of hugs, and the quiet moments of shared understanding. Serena, meanwhile, watched from the doorway, feeling a sense of fulfillment. She had acted with compassion, had bridged the gap between a busy CEO and his neglected family. And in doing so, she had reminded Jonathan and all who witnessed it that kindness is transformative. As the night deepened, Jonathan knelt down beside his daughters, holding their hands. "I promise," he said softly, "I will never let distance or work come between us again. You are my greatest achievement, my heart, and my home." The girls hugged him again, and Claire joined in, creating a circle of love, laughter, and warmth that no snowstorm could chill. White medium star the moral. True wealth is not measured by money or status. It is measured by the love, presence, and kindness we share with those around us. One act of compassion, a nurse delivering a simple note, sparked a chain of events that transformed a lonely CEO, reunited a family, and reminded everyone that even the smallest gestures of kindness can create miracles. Jonathan learned that leadership isn't just about controlling empires. It's about nurturing hearts, starting with the ones closest to us. And Serena proved that a single act of selfless caring can change lives forever.